Instead of seeking validation from others, practice validating your own experiences and feelings. Remind yourself that it's okay to feel vulnerable and that your emotions are valid, regardless of how others may perceive them. Hello, beautiful soul. Thank you for joining me today. In a world that often celebrates strength and resilience while shunning vulnerability, the notion of embracing our vulnerabilities might seem counterintuitive. However, it is precisely through our willingness to be open and vulnerable that we can experience profound growth and transformation. Welcome to the Power of Openness, embracing vulnerability for growth. In this discussion, we embark on a journey to explore the transformative potential of vulnerability. We delve into the depth of what it means to be vulnerable, examining the fears, misconceptions, and barriers that often stand in our way. Along the way, we'll discover how vulnerability can be a source of strength, authenticity, and connection, both personal and professionally. Through research, real-life examples, and practical exercises, we'll uncover the power of vulnerability to catalyze growth and foster resilience. Whether you are seeking to navigate your own personal journey of self-discovery or looking to cultivate a culture of vulnerability within your organization, this discussion offers insights, strategies, and inspirations to guide you on the path. Join me as we embrace vulnerability not as a sign of weakness, but as a gateway to greater authenticity, connection, and growth. Vulnerability can be defined as the state of being exposed to the possibility of harm, either emotionally, socially, or psychologically. It encompasses various dimensions, each contributing to our overall sense of vulnerability. Emotional vulnerability. Emotional vulnerability refers to the willingness to experience and express one's feelings openly, without fear of judgment or rejection. It involves acknowledging and embracing the full range of emotions, including sadness, fear, joy, and love. Social vulnerability. Social vulnerability relates to our susceptibility to feeling exposed or insecure in social interactions and relationships. Social vulnerability relates to our susceptibility to feeling exposed or insecure in social interactions and relationships. It involves the risk of rejection, criticism, or disapproval from others, leading to feelings of isolation or loneliness. Psychological vulnerability. Psychological vulnerability pertains to our innermost thoughts, beliefs, and insecurities. It encompasses our fears of failure, inadequacy, and vulnerability itself, often stemming from past experience or traumas. Despite its potential for growth and connection, vulnerability is often misunderstood and feared. Common misconceptions and fears associated with vulnerability include weakness. One of the most pervasive myths about vulnerability is that it equates to weakness. Many people believe that showing vulnerability is a sign of fragility or inadequacy, leading them to avoid expressing their true thoughts and emotions. Fear of rejection. Fear of rejection is a significant barrier to vulnerability, as many individuals worry about being judged, criticized, or rejected by others if they show their true selves. This fear often stems from past experience of rejection or abandonment. Loss of control. Vulnerability can evoke a sense of loss of control, as it requires us to relinquish our defenses and open ourselves up to uncertainty and discomfort. This loss of control can be unsettling for those who prefer to maintain a sense of autonomy and self-resilience. Despite the misconceptions and fears surrounding vulnerability, embracing it can lead to numerous benefits, including increased resilience. Embracing vulnerability can foster resilience by allowing us to confront and navigate challenging emotions and experience more effectively. By acknowledging our vulnerabilities, we become better equipped to adapt and bounce back from adversity. Authenticity. Vulnerability is essential for cultivating authenticity in our relationships and interactions with others. When we show vulnerability, we allow ourselves to be seen and understood authentically, fostering genuine connections based on trust and empathy. Connection. Vulnerability is the gateway to deeper connections with others, as it enables us to share our true selves more openly and honestly. By embracing vulnerability, we create opportunities for empathy, understanding, and mutual support in our relationships. Understanding vulnerability requires us to recognize its various dimensions, challenge common misconceptions and fears, and embrace its potential for growth and connection. By acknowledging and accepting our vulnerabilities, we can cultivate resilience, authenticity, and meaningful connections in our lives. Despite the inherent benefits, embracing vulnerability can be challenging due to various barriers and obstacles that individuals may face. Fear of judgment. Many people fear being judged or criticized by others if they show vulnerability, leading them to hide their true thoughts and emotions. Shame and self-doubt. Feeling of shame and self-doubt can prevent individuals from embracing vulnerability, as they may perceive it as a sign of weakness or inadequacy. Cultural and societal norms. Cultural and societal norms that value stoicism and emotional restraint can discourage vulnerability, reinforcing the belief that it is unacceptable or undesirable. Past trauma. Previous experience of rejection, betrayal, or emotional harm can create barriers to vulnerability, as individuals may fear being hurt again if they open themselves up to others. Cultivating self-compassion. Practicing self-compassion can help individuals overcome feelings of shame and self-doubt associated with vulnerability. By treating themselves with kindness and understanding, they can learn to embrace their imperfections and vulnerabilities without judgment. Challenging negative beliefs. Identifying and challenging negative beliefs about vulnerability can help individuals reframe their perspective and develop a more positive attitude towards it. This might involve questioning the validity of beliefs such as vulnerability is a sign of weakness, and replacing them with more empowering. Building trusting relationships. Surrounding oneself with supportive and trustworthy individuals can create a safe space for vulnerability. Cultivating authentic connections with friends, family, or therapists who can offer acceptance and validation can encourage individuals to open up and share their vulnerabilities more freely. Practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness practices such as meditation, deep breathing, and self-reflection can help individuals develop awareness of their thoughts and emotions without judgment. This can provide a foundation for embracing vulnerability by allowing individuals to observe and accept their feelings without resistance. Start small. Embracing vulnerability doesn't have to mean sharing your deepest secrets with everyone you meet. Start by taking small steps outside of your comfort zones, such as sharing your thoughts or feelings with a trusted friend or loved one. Celebrate vulnerability. Instead of viewing vulnerability as a weakness, celebrate it as a strength. Recognize the courage it takes to be vulnerable and acknowledge the growth and connection that can result from embracing vulnerability. Practice self-validation. Instead of seeking validation from others, practice validating your own experiences and feelings. Remind yourself that it's okay to feel vulnerable and that your emotions are valid, regardless of how others may perceive them. Seek support. If you are struggling to overcome barriers to vulnerability on your own, don't hesitate to seek support from a therapist or counselor. A trained professional can offer guidance, encouragement, and practical tools for navigating vulnerability and building resilience. Openness is a quality that encompasses receptiveness to new ideas, experiences, and perspectives. It involves a willingness to explore the unknown, challenge preconceptions, and embrace diversity. In the context of personal and professional growth, openness plays a crucial role in fostering development and transformation. Let's delve into how openness intertwines with vulnerability and how it facilitates growth on both personal and professional levels. Openness and vulnerabilities are closely intertwined. Being open to new experiences and perspectives requires a level of vulnerability, as it involves stepping out of one's comfort zone and exposing oneself to the uncertainty of the unfamiliar. Similarly, vulnerability often necessitates openness, as it entails the willingness to be authentic and transparent about one's thoughts, feelings, and insecurities. Thus, embracing openness cultivates an environment where vulnerability can flourish, enabling individuals to connect more deeply with themselves and others. Openness to experience, emotions, and perspectives serve as a catalyst for personal and professional growth. When individuals embrace openness, they expand their horizon and invite opportunities for learning and self-discovery. By being receptive to new ideas and feedback, they continuously evolve and adapt, fostering a growth mindset that propels them forward. Moreover, openness to emotions allow individuals to navigate their internal landscape with honesty and compassion. By acknowledging and processing their feelings, they develop emotional intelligence and resilience, enabling them to cope effectively with life's challenges and setbacks. Additionally, openness to diverse perspectives fosters creativity, innovation, and collaboration. When individuals welcome different viewpoints and approaches, they gain new insights and solutions that drive progress and success in their personal and professional endeavors. Vulnerability is the cornerstone of authentic connection and meaningful relationships. When individuals allow themselves to be vulnerable, they create space for genuine connection and intimacy with others. By sharing their fears, insecurities, and aspirations openly, they invite empathy, understanding, and support from those around them. Furthermore, vulnerability fosters trust and reciprocity in relationships. When individuals demonstrate vulnerability, they signal to others that it is safe to do the same, creating a foundation of mutual trust and respect. Authentic connections built on vulnerability are characterized by honesty, empathy, and acceptance, enriching both personal and professional relationships. Openness is instrumental in fostering personal and professional growth, and it cultivates an environment where vulnerability can thrive. By embracing openness to experience, emotions, and perspectives, individuals create opportunities for learning, connection, and self-discovery, ultimately leading to a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Acknowledge and accept emotions. Start by acknowledging and accepting your emotions, both positive and negative. Allow yourself to experience a wide range of feelings without judgment or suppression. Practice self-compassion. Be kind and compassionate towards yourself, especially during moments of vulnerability. Treat yourself with the same care and understanding you would offer to a friend in need. Share your authentic self. Take small steps to share your authentic self with others, whether it's expressing your thoughts, feelings, or experience. Start with trusting friends or family members who create a safe and supportive environment. Embrace imperfection. Embrace imperfection as a natural part of the human experience. Recognize that vulnerability is not about being flawless, but about being genuine and authentic in spite of our imperfections. Seek support. Surround yourself with supportive individuals who encourage vulnerability and authenticity. Seek out communities, groups, or therapy where you can openly express yourself without fear of judgment. Reflect on a recent experience where you felt vulnerable. What emotions did you experience? How did you respond to those emotions? Write about time when you withheld vulnerability out of fear or insecurity. What were the consequences of not being open and authentic? Identify and recurrent patterns or beliefs that hinder your ability to embrace vulnerability. How can you challenge and reframe these beliefs to foster growth? Imagine your ideal version of vulnerability. What would it look like to show up authentically in various areas of your life? What steps can you take to move closer to this ideal? Mindfulness meditation. Practice mindfulness meditation to cultivate awareness of your thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations without judgment. Mindfulness can help you become more comfortable with vulnerability by fostering acceptance and non-reactivity. Non-violent communication. Learn and practice non-violent communication techniques to express yourself authentically while fostering empathy and understanding in your interactions with others. Non-violent communication encourages honesty, vulnerability, and active listening. Empathic listening. Practice empathic listening by fully focusing on the speaker's words, emotions, and body language without interrupting or judging. Cultivate empathy and understanding in your relationships by creating a safe space for others to express themselves vulnerability. By incorporating these actionable steps, prompts for self-reflection and mindfulness practices into your daily life, you can cultivate vulnerability as a pathway to personal growth, authenticity, and meaningful connections. Remember that vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but a strength that allows you to show up fully and authentically in the world. As we reach the end of our exploration into the power of openness, embracing vulnerability for growth, it's clear that vulnerability is not something to be feared or avoided, but embraced as an essential aspect of the human experience. Throughout this journey, we have witnessed the transformative potential of vulnerability to catalyze personal and professional growth, foster authentic connections, and cultivate resilience in the face of adversity. By opening ourselves up to vulnerability, we invite the possibility of deeper connection, greater authenticity, and profound growth. We have learned that vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but a reflection of our courage to show up authentically in the world imperfections and hope. As you continue on your journey, I encourage you to embrace vulnerability as a strength, not a weakness. Lean into discomfort, cultivate authenticity, and seek out opportunities for growth. Remember that true strength lies not in our ability to mask our vulnerabilities, but in our willingness to embrace them wholeheartedly. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May you continue to embrace vulnerability as a pathway to greater authenticity, connection, and growth in your own life. Thank you, and see you in the next episode.